good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, depending on where you are in the world. This is Leslie Cook, Director of Membership from HDI, and I'm so glad you have joined us today for the Pursuit of Service and Support Excellence, a case study from our 2018 HDI Team Excellence Award winner, Optum. We are joined by a full crew today, excited to have you meet, or through the phone meet, Mike Hansen and Gus Giesen from Optum, and as well as Tabitha Scarborough from Robert Half Technology. We are definitely bringing out the cream of the crop for today's webinar. Today's webinar is a special case study, like I said, really featuring, celebrating, congratulating our 2018 HDI Team Excellence winner, Optum. We're going to take this opportunity to have Optum share their story about the amazing things they're doing in their organization. So we are excited for today's opportunity. You'll definitely learn from the best and find out what it takes to ascend to the peak of your profession. So like I said, I'm Leslie Cook. I'm your host and moderator for today's webinar and HDI's Director of Membership. I am joined by Tabitha Scarborough from Robert Half Technology, HDI's premier award sponsor for our industry award program. Tabitha, thanks so much for joining me today. How are you doing?
I am doing well and very excited to be here.
Awesome. Tabitha has been with Robert Half for quite some time. Tabitha's relationship with Robert Half started in 2002 when she reached out for staffing support to help with a convention for her organization. After 5 years of working with Robert Half as a client and a hiatus to attend Utah State University in 2011, she registered with Robert Half as a candidate. A month later, she joined Robert Half Technology as a technical recruiter. So over the last 6 years, Tabitha has placed more than 1,500 people in IT support positions in Salt Lake City, San Diego, and Las Vegas. And in February 2012, Tabitha reached out to HDI and started to pursue launching a Las Vegas HDI local chapter. The local chapter in Las Vegas was founded in April 2012, and Tabitha's been a huge supporter and chapter officer since. And I'd personally like to give a big thanks to Tabitha and Robert Half Technology for being our premier award sponsor for HDI's Industry Award Program. We could not run our program without Robert Half Technology. And Tabitha, thanks so much for everything you do to support our community. I actually want to pass it over to Tabitha, and she's going to help us learn about a few things.
Thank you, Leslie. I have been working in staffing now for going on 7 years and partnered with HDI for most of that time. I am definitely very honored to be here. I was also very honored to be able to congratulate and meet most of the regional winners at the luncheon during conference here in Vegas. A little bit about Robert Half. We are a technology placement firm. We place highly skilled IT professionals both on a project and a full-time basis. We staff for initiatives ranging from web development, system integration, network security, technical support, and as a lot of environments are experiencing right now, the Windows 7 to 10 migrations. We have more than 115 offices worldwide. We do offer a spectrum of services from project, staff augmentation, contract to hire, and full-time IT staffing. We also work with positions like DevOps, cybersecurity, front, middle, and back-end developers, so we aren't just focused on the infrastructure and support space. We are honored to continue our partnership with HDI in regards to the awards. We find that a common theme throughout the IT industry right now is recognition and employee morale to be able to help retain that top talent, because talent is harder to find these days with unemployment rates being so low. At Robert Half, we believe in recognizing our employees' accomplishments, rewarding their successes in crucial aspects of being a great place to work, which is why we are proud to sponsor these awards. Your colleagues recognize your hard work, dedication with a nomination to share your success both inside your community and beyond. We research workplace-related topics throughout the year. One of our larger studies this last year has been to explore what makes people work happy. When your employees are happy, morale is up, turnover is down, business is growing. For technology professionals, the top 3 drivers for workplace happiness are pride in their organization, feeling appreciated for the work they do when they're taking those calls or they're desk side resolving tickets. They're not always working with the easiest people, so to feel appreciated is so important. They need to be interested in the work that they're doing. What are some of the things that we can do to recognize your staff, your colleagues' achievements? Say thanks. Regular acknowledgement goes a long way in keeping morale up and retaining that talent. Put it in writing. Prepare a handwritten thank you note. Copy a senior executive, or email, a thank you note to those executives. Publicize their achievements. Feature something stand out about that employee in a company newsletter, in a weekly emailing. Recognize them in a meeting, or nominating them for an award like these HDI awards. It's an excellent way to show them that you appreciate them and you recognize them. And then support their continued education. HDI offers great certifications and great trainings for staff. And again, just recognizing and rewarding the employees for the crucial role that they play within the organization for the overall success of the team, to help retain those key employees. And again, we want to congratulate this year's winners. This year's winners are truly the best of the best in the industry, and they went up against some of the best in the industry to get to this point. And I definitely look forward to hearing more about achievements and hopefully getting to know you throughout the years as your involvement with HDI continues to grow. And I will turn it back over to Leslie.
Thank you so much, Tabitha. I appreciate that. And to complement what Tabitha and Robert Half has shared here, one of the, according to Entrepreneur Magazine, one of the easiest and most inexpensive ways for you to stand out from your competitors is to win industry awards. It is, it's so important to reward and recognize, and how you can honor the high-performing teams and individuals in your organization is through the HDI's award program. It is free to apply, submit your nominations, and it's open to both members and non-members, so I definitely encourage you to consider applying. Recognizing and rewarding employee and team contribution and accomplishments is an important part of creating a quality culture. When employees and teams know their efforts are appreciated, it increases their self-esteem and satisfaction with their job. Their improved attitude toward their job encourages them to aim for quality and increases productivity. And employees and teams will know that their contributions are valued. So you can see that it just builds on improving your team and your organization. So think about the last time you were recognized. How did it make you feel? I want you to remember that feeling and pass it along to your high-performing individuals and teams by rewarding and recognizing them. HDI is committed to supporting your efforts in recognizing your top-performing individuals and teams. We do that through our industry award program. Each year, HDI awards the highest honors in the service and support industry. These awards recognize professionals at all levels, from analyst and technician to manager, and teams and organizations of all sizes. And the winners and finalists are honored every spring at the HDI Annual Conference and Expo, and we're proud to have the support of Robert Half Technology, our premier award sponsor, during that conference to celebrate and recognize these finalists and winners. So if you're ever interested in nominating an individual or a team for an HDI Industry Award, I encourage you to do so now. Do not wait until the deadline. Think about it all year and submit submissions all year as you're thinking about it. Submissions are open now, and do note the deadline to submit or nominate someone for an HDI Industry Award is October 31st for Analyst of the Year, Desktop Support Technician of the Year, Manager, Team Excellence, and so on. So get those in, and we will award those at HDI 2019 in Orlando, April 9th through the 12th. We also have another awards program in the fall at Service Management World. The HDI Awards program recognizes innovation and improvement in the service management industry through the Service Improvement Award and the Knowledge Centered Support Award. The deadline for these awards is coming up so quickly. We're not even, we have less than a month away from the deadline. So submit your nominations, submit your applications by June 30th. So submissions are open now. So apply today at thinkhdI.com/awards, and I encourage everyone to do that. The HDI Awards are most highly regarded recognition platform for service and support organizations, like I said, for all sizes, all sectors, public, private. And the benefits of entering this award program extend far beyond picking up one of the illustrious trophies. There are many great reasons. There's at least 8 listed here. I won't go through all of these, but I think that they're important to note. Many great reasons why you should really consider nominating a colleague or a direct report or your entire team for an award. One of the ones I always like to point out is if you are a finalist for one of our awards, you get a free registration to the HDI annual conference, so that's a must. And then I think more importantly is the HDI Awards community is comprised of exceptional organization and individuals. We have winners here with us today that have joined that exceptional network that we'll introduce very soon. And just really excited to have them here, celebrate them, recognize them, and really use this as a platform for them to share their story. So we are here today to celebrate you, honor you for winning the 2018 Team Excellence Award. These winners have joined us today. They are sincerely best in class in service and support. We want to thank you first for being a part of the HDI community and for everything you do for your team, your organization, and your peers. We have Mike Hansen today joining us, Technology Support Director from Optum, as well as Gus Giesen, Director of Endpoint Support from Optum. So Mike and Gus, I'm going to have you introduce yourselves, tell everybody a little bit about yourself, personal, professional, and a professional achievement you're proud of, and then we'll pass it on to you to tell your story.
Thanks, Leslie. My name is Mike Hansen. I've been with Optum/United Health for about 25 years now, so I've been with the company quite a long time. I manage the assets for our area and user basically globally. We have about 285,000 people that we support around the world, over 300,000 assets. And I also manage the fulfillment center, which is centrally located here in the U.S. that provides computer hardware and whatnot to all of the sites domestically. Married, have one daughter. We live down in Florida. And I guess professionally, I mean, just the fact that I've been with this company for such a long time, I really believe in their mission, and I look forward to being here until I retire.
It's great to have you today, Mike. And Gus, introduce yourself.
Certainly. Hi, good afternoon, everybody. My name is Gus Giesen. I've been with Optum Technologies and United Health Group since 1997. Joined the company as a regional manager and have worked my way through to a director-level position in support of our end-user community. Some of the innovations that we've implemented since that time was PC Self-Maintainer, which was in partnership with HP. We're an HP shop, so we have mostly desktops and laptops provided by the manufacturer. Mike mentioned the National Fulfillment Center. So I'm very close to that process since we launched it in 2008. That was an original, it was a capability that came to us from an acquisition that we just kind of grew and scaled to support the domestic enterprise. And then most recently, we're working with our developer community to automate our onboarding and lifecycle replacement of desktops and laptops so that we can turn our attention to more challenging work rather than rebuilding and imaging machines and deploying applications. I live in Southern California, so Mike and I both like warm weather, and I have 3 boys. The youngest 2 are 15, and the oldest is 20. All 3 live at home and happily married, and happy to be here.
Fantastic. So I'm just going to turn it right over to you guys so you can start sharing your story.
Thanks, Leslie. Yeah, and I think I'd like to start off by basically saying that if you've never submitted for an award like this, you should definitely give it a try. Just from a purely personal perspective, the actual process of putting all this material together, it really gave me a better understanding of how our organization works, how all the pieces fit together, and it really brought home all the work that we're doing organizationally to provide a really high level of customer service. Even if you don't win, it's really beneficial because you learn so much. Ours was quite substantial. We had over 60 pages in our submission, so I've got a lot of material to cover, and I will try to get through it as quickly as I can here. Most people are probably already familiar with United Healthcare. Some of you might even have them as your insurance provider. What some aren't aware of is that there's actually 2 companies under the United Health Group umbrella. United Healthcare is the benefits company. It's the one that provides the insurance services. Optum is the other big company under the United Health umbrella, and we're a health services provider. What that means is that we offer technology and services to the entire healthcare market. It's made up of basically 3 different businesses. 3 businesses: Optum Health, which is a health management and collaborative care company; Optum Insight, which is a software and information products company; and Optum RX, which provides pharmacy services. All of these businesses and all of our employees are very strongly focused on the overall mission of United Health Group, which is helping people live healthier lives and helping make the healthcare system work better for everyone. And the part of the company that actually provides support is called End User Technology Services, or UTS for short. I won't read the slide. There's a lot of numbers on there, and as you can see, because we're a really big company, there's some really big numbers there. We provide support for all of United Health Group around the world, and this slide kind of demonstrates some of the recent stats, but of particular interest is the map in the lower right corner. It illustrates where Optum has a presence around the world. You can see we're in Europe, we're in Asia, Australia, North and South America. We even have a small presence in Africa, which is something that I wasn't even aware of. So the map is actually probably a little out of date at this point since we've submitted for the award. Our presence in South America has expanded quite a bit. And as a matter of fact, the largest healthcare system in Brazil, called Emil, is a United Health Group business. And our businesses in Asia, Philippines, and India are booming, expanding as well. EUTS is led by Gary Jeter. He's a great guy. He's led us on an interesting journey, consolidating basically 9 distinct teams into a very cohesive support organization. And I think this is really one of the things that makes makes our organization unique. And we're not just a service desk or not just a desktop support team, but we've taken all of these different teams that contribute to supporting the company, the customer, and we've blended them into a kind of a single leader and a single support organization. It's a matrixed organization, so we all have common goals and measures. We're all focused on the same thing, which is the needs of our customers. And when you look at that, there are 2 different really groups. There's what we call solution delivery. This is product management portfolio delivery, engineering and development, and business ops. They're all focused on the customer computing roadmaps. They coordinate building solutions that help the business. And then the other teams, the automated provisioning, the service center, delivery operations, platform ops, we're focused on the day-to-day functions, the daily support operations of Optum, and we make sure that all 250 to 300,000 employees of United Health Group have a functional environment. Our work can kind of be broken down into 8 product families, as noted here. Mostly self-explanatory. United Communications is basically fax services, voice, media, things like that. Mobility, mobile devices. Collaboration is email and social media. Desktop apps is all the productivity suites. Again, it's sort of self-explanatory, but we break it down like that so we can better manage it. Our primary focus really is to provide, the overall technical support for United Health Group. We work together. We use lean principles. We're always trying to improve our customer experience. We're always looking for ways to push work to the left toward the customer, moving, the resolution of an incident as close to the customer as we possibly can. Our goals are to basically eliminate the need for queuing or triaging whenever possible. So we're always looking at ways we can automate, always looking for ways that we can review our processes, simplify them, make it easier for the customer to understand and get things done. This graphic, I realize it's a little hard to read. It's kind of illustrating our strategy. The complexity of an issue is obviously a factor, and the more complex issues are farther to the right. Into level 3 or even as far as into engineering level support. The lower complexities, we continuously try to push to the left with the goal of, utilizing self-service or even self-healing processes. And the more that we move to the left, we have a higher degree of development needed for process automation. The EUTS mission, it really supports the greater UHG mission of making healthcare better. We do that by going the extra distance to deliver value to our customers. Every successful organization, has a clearly defined and effective culture, and I wanted to make sure that I brought this out because, it takes a long time to build a great corporate culture, and in Optum, we've been working on it for several years now. And I can say that this isn't just, your typical flavor of the month thing that happens, in big companies, because I can't tell you how many times over the years I've been sent to classes or given books to describe a new way of management, and then, 6 months later, we're on to the next. This one is, we're very serious about it. Our approach to building a culture is much broader, and it's critical to how we're supporting our customers. And what makes it different is that it has support all the way up to the CEO's office and at every level of leadership. Our values are integrity, compassion, relationships, innovation, and performance. And to show that we're really serious about it, they've actually established a core of what we call cultural ambassadors. These are folks that are familiar with what we're trying to do. They have a good grounding in what these values are. And we all work together and with these teams to promote these values and instill them as something that's normal to our day-to-day work. Today, there's about 18,000 or more ambassadors throughout the company. Continues to grow. In EUTS, we have around 50. We have one person who facilitates culture workshops, and one of our senior executive leaders is actually on the culture leadership team. So we're very committed to building that good culture. So when we look at the EUTS leadership, there are a number of things that we try to do to keep motivating our folks, keep the morale up. And there's a lot of stuff going on this slide. One of our successes of as leaders relies very much on the success of our teams. So it's important to us that everybody has the opportunity to grow in their career. That they're given time to learn new things, new skills. So we do this in a number of ways. First is regular communication. We hear that all the time. Getting together as a team, getting together as individuals, exchanging information, providing mentoring on a one-to-one level and guidance, setting clear expectations and establishing goals. But we also want to reward folks who are performing well. We do this through what we call the Bravo program, which any employee in United Health Group can use to provide recognition to someone else based on our cultural values. They range from a points-based award, that can, after accumulating a few points, you can use it to purchase stuff through a gift catalog. Or once you get up to the higher levels, leaders can actually hand out cash-based awards to take advantage, to incent folks by putting money directly into their paycheck. It's as global. So if I want to recognize somebody in India or the Philippines or the UK or anywhere else in the world, it's a really quick and easy way to do it, and it helps us drive an awareness between how an employee performs and recognizing what they're doing based on our culture. We highlight these awards during our monthly managers meetings as well as during town halls. These highlights detail what values are being recognized, how many awards have been given, and the meetings are actually started out with like this multimedia presentation that showcases this information. One of the things that's kind of unique to EUTS is what we call the Terry Youngren Award. She was a longtime employee who unfortunately passed away from cancer, but she really did represent the best of us as far as customer service was concerned. And in her memory, they created an annual award to the employee who best embodies a passion for customer service. Lastly, like many other companies, we have yearly evals where folks are evaluated over their performance over the years. There are some key areas where we work at inspiring and motivating employees, but there are other things like regular town halls, monthly manager meetings, and so forth. At the leadership level, we actually have regular summits for the leaders. Senior leaders get together several times a year. A lot of other managers get together at least once a year. We also get together at an annual Innovation Day event that brings together all of Optum. It's kind of a conference-like environment where we can learn about what other areas of Optum are doing. We encourage our team to work with communities, and managers are always willing to work with their staff to get time scheduled so that folks can go out and do community events. We have a program called the Giving Program that allows us to go out and find a charity, and the company will match the funds either through, and they can either do it a single time during the year, or they can have a regular payroll deduction. And if an employee actually puts in 30 hours of volunteer work, the company will donate $500 to a charity of their choice. Project Sunshine is a company-sponsored program that brings hospital programming like art and education, social services to over 100,000 kids and their families in pediatric hospitals. And then there's also an annual Habitat for Humanity event where UTS actually sponsors a week of home building to get employees together outside of work. We track satisfaction through a survey we call Vital Signs. Each year we evaluate the results of this survey, and based on the categories that score lowest, we kind of work with our teams and our leadership to develop action plans to try to address concerns. It's important that our teams know that we care about what their feedback is, and they see us taking it seriously, and see us acting on it. Our last survey showed a favorable of about 81% across all the dimensions. Some areas were scoring as high as 96%, but obviously as we drill down into the team levels, there are always areas that we work on, and we try to address those issues with action plans as best we can. Some of the other areas you look at to determine how satisfied are your employees is the turnover rate. Optum and EUTS try really hard to take care of our folks, and that is reflected in our turnover rate. We're at about 4.3% turnover per year, and we have a lot of folks that have been around for a long time. We have 95 employees. At least at the time this was put together, we had 95 that had over 20 years of service, and we had one that had as much as 38 years. So, a lot of folks with a lot of time. Having a good workspace is important as well, and one of our recent development is Right Work. This looks at how people work together rather than just laying out workstations in a room. It tries to balance the needs of our staff, because we're going to have to learn how to accommodate a younger, more mobile, more technically oriented folk. But while we're doing that, we still have to control costs and try to improve how we're doing things. So we've developed this this kind of new approach called right work, and this slide illustrates one approach to how we facilitate how teams work together. The whole point of this is to try to optimize the overall workflow by providing the right tools, the right services, setting up the seating areas in such a way to support how a team actually works together. So in some, it could be a dynamic open area where I was recently in an office where there were no partitions and it was all open seating. There could be just low walls to facilitate discussions. It really depends on the team and how they want to use their workspace, and it allows them to decide how they want to work. And they can customize their workspace rather than trying to force somebody into an environment and then having them figure out how to make it work. Keeping our staff up to date on current technology is also an important area for us. So we have a number of areas available for training and development. First, our new hires always go through a comprehensive onboarding process. This gives them basic instructions on how to use our tools, how to use our processes and procedures. And of course, this is going to vary depending on what team they're joining. But for example, our service center, the service center has a 25-week technical support training program. And it covers not just the basics, but everything that has to do with how to handle calls, how to manage service requests, how to take care of incidents. A lot of it is self-paced learning, but it's very comprehensive. For ongoing training, there are literally hundreds of computer-based trainings available online within our environment that can be taken either through an assignment or just if someone finds something that they like and wants to expand their skill sets. And really, the feedback from our staff is that they struggle to find the time to do this. So to help us facilitate that, or help them find the time, at least in delivery operations or the second level support team, we've made a rule that every employee is allowed a minimum of 40 hours. So they work with their manager to coordinate that. If in the case someone prefers to do something like a college or a university class, we also have tuition reimbursement available for that to help them cover any costs towards a degree. The leadership team isn't excluded from this type of training. The illustration here is of our leadership training dashboard. It's actually a very neat little tool that we've got. It lists all the recommended trainings for leadership. Includes things like quality training, Kanban, leadership fundamentals, cultural training, financial courses. But it allows us to track, how we're doing against what the recommended classes are. As innovation is one of our values, there's also a really strong process improvement, emphasis on process improvement, with a lot of focus on things like Kanban and Agile and other continuous process improvement initiatives. So EUTS is, we're the support organization. We exist to provide technology to support to everyone within United Health Group. Something that's always on our mind is what we call the power of one. What this means is we always try to recognize that what we do has the potential for a much broader impact than just the customer being down or something needs to be fixed. We support a lot of healthcare folks, right? We're a healthcare company. So, they could be doctors, nurses, they could be staff doing benefit management, claims. Others who are outside of UHG rely on these people to make a difference in their life. If we fail in our support mission, it could mean something very frustrating to our customer. Their claim doesn't get paid, or someone with a serious ailment, now has to deal with unnecessary problems because their system was down or something like that. In a clinical setting, which we support a number of clinics, this could literally mean a life or death situation. So the power of one is really focused on meaning anybody in EUTS at any level, then not only they can, but they should identify where we can do better, where we can help fulfill the mission of making the healthcare system better for everyone. It's always there. It's always featured in front of us. And we find out how we're doing by asking our customers. We're very engaged with things like Net Promoter and customer satisfaction. There's a one-click survey that's actually sent out at the end of each call that captures Net Promoter data. And every incident that we generate has an associated survey that's sent upon closure to get some more comprehensive information about how we did. I want to talk a little bit about Net Promoter. I mean, we have a number of metrics, right? We capture all the typical operational metrics as noted here. These make sure that we're staying on top of the health of our process, and I won't go into each of these. Most of you are probably already familiar with many of them, but I do want to talk a little bit more about Net Promoter. In case you're not aware, Net Promoter really asks one simple question, which is, would you recommend our service to other people? And our interpretation of that is, how satisfied are you with your experience? We take that data and we put it into a closed loop process. Whether the response is a promoter or a detractor, that information is passed back to the employee. And if in the case of a response that's negative, a detractor, we may actually reach back out to the customer as well to get more information about what went wrong. If a customer is unhappy, they're given the option of they can actually request a call from a support manager who will then manage that issue and make sure that it's remediated. And if we start seeing a lot of the same issues over and over again, then a problem would be created to do a deeper dive into the root cause of that issue. Improvements are then communicated to the business through an email distribution list. And we actually have a very aggressive goal. We have a goal that was established a couple of years ago we call it 70 by 7. So it's within 7 years they wanted us to be at 70, an NPS score of 70. And we're a couple of years into that. We're looking to be at 70 or better within probably the next 4 or 5 years. EUTS is doing our part to try to help out with that. Some of the other metrics, just real quick, we have what's called the production operation metrics, or our POM metrics. These are a senior leadership level metric. They review where the senior leaders take a look at what's going on in our environment and allows them to identify and prioritize various areas for improvement. So the next few slides are going to look at some areas where Optum has developed some of our innovative solutions. Innovation, again, is one of our cultural values, and we have a few ways that someone can submit some ideas for consideration. The first, and again, I apologize for the blurry bit of the graphic here, but the one on the far left is we call Optum Bright Ideas. The Bright Ideas program includes all of Optum. So ideas can come from outside of EUTS or inside, and they get reviewed. And if they're determined to be a good idea, they'll have resources assigned to them. Within EUTS, that middle box illustrates our Plant a Seed program. Plant a Seed program looks at ideas that are submitted from our own staff within EUTS, and again, they're all evaluated for. If it looks like it's a great idea, we move on with it. That last one on the right is the Incident Prediction and Prevention Management program, and this program exists to actually listen to the employees. I remember we talked earlier about the power of one. Well, this it kind of helps engage that, because this program is there to listen to our concerns and ideas around all of our processes that have impact on the customer and how we can make it better for them. So that's where we gather that information. Other things that we do to encourage innovation, we're very strong on Lean and Six Sigma programs. We have Green and Black Belt program certification programs. We also have Lean Leader certifications. At the leadership level, we focus on what we call process-centric management. This is actually a leadership program that includes a number of courses that educates managers on how to have a consistent approach to everything, from daily tasks to big projects, and it teaches fundamentals basic and fundamental tactics on how to deliver, a good customer experience. And then finally, Agile. Optum's embraced this method, and in order to help facilitate it, we've developed this OSAM model, Optum Scalable Agile Method. We've had to do this because we're a really big organization, and everyone is not at the same level when it comes to adopting this method. So the goal was to kind of use this to create kind of a scalable and metrics-driven approach that can help us get any organization to an agile maturity regardless of where they're at today. So let's look at some specific innovations that Optum's had over the last, or during the course of when we were putting this submission together. First one I want to talk about is the Smart Spot. It's interesting to see, the evolution of desktop support or second level support. Back in the day, we had desktop support where techs would go to the customer's desk. Then we moved in our organization to a very much a remote model where, the customer would call in and everything was handled remotely. And now we're back to working with the customer face to face, only now the customer's coming to us. The Smart Spot is a walk-up desk that we've established and are put into many of our larger campus sites. It's typically located in well-trafficked areas, like on the way to the cafeteria. It allows the user to get personalized support based on their schedule. Since we started rolling it out, the customer response has been fantastic. Our NPS score for the initial Smart Spot is still well over 90. Which, if you're familiar with NPS, is almost unheard of. So it's been a very, very successful project, and we're in the process of rolling out similar Smart Spots in campuses all over the country and even in some international sites. One of our other innovations is what we call the Common Build Portal. Gus mentioned when he was during his introduction about something along these lines. This is an initiative that's taken an agile approach, and we've gradually shifted the ability to request a computer back towards the customer. So rather than dealing with second level support and service requests, the Common Build Portal interfaces with automation, and it makes the process faster and easier for the customer. As you can see from the control chart, again, that really tiny control chart, but you can see that the amount of effort needed to fulfill a new hire request has gone down dramatically over time. So in order to provide the best support, we need the best tools, and this slide illustrates just a few of the tools that we use on a regular basis. Many of you are probably already familiar with BombCar. This is used to provide remote support, and really being able to do remote support is what enables us to help our customers, so it's a critical tool. Macro Express, it allows us to automate tasks. It's a very simple tool with a very big impact. It allows us to automate repetitive tasks and reduce effort. And this it improves our efficiency as well as making sure things are consistent. Shipping Center is a homegrown tool that's at our fulfillment center. It has ties into ServiceNow. It helps us to quickly pack and ship equipment to customers. It has a lot of automation built into it as well. And then the automated image build is related to the tool previously, the CBP tool earlier. In this case, these are background processes that kind of automate the build and the imaging and build of devices as they sit on the racks at the fulfillment center. So let's look at some of our challenges. Naturally, as we try to innovate, we encounter some challenges. And the next few slides, we'll look at a couple of them. Warm transfer was our effort to shift support closer to the customer. So rather than the service desk basically taking a ticket and assigning it to a second level work group or a queue, we have our second level folks available right online for an immediate transfer. It's sort of like a second level help desk that and basically spend a lot more time troubleshooting and fixing an issue. The goal was to reduce the gap between when the customer calls the service desk and then when they actually are able to speak to a second level tech and get their issue resolved. Not all calls qualify for warm transfer, and this was one of our challenges, because in order to identify them, we had to do some development. And what we did is we built it into our knowledge management system. So when the service desk analyst goes into the CAM tool and looks for knowledge, and they find the associated knowledge to the call, they're informed right in the tool if that incident qualifies for this warm transfer process. If it does, the tool will actually tell them what work group that ticket needs to go to. So it streamlined the activity quite a bit. The warm transfer process is another one of those things that has had a huge positive response from our customers, and we're working on moving more and more things into that process as time goes on. Another challenge we had was, we're a big organization. We have lots of sites around the country. The problem was that many of the sites and the businesses were holding their own inventory for computers. In some sites, you could walk into the storeroom and there would be stacks of computers that were assigned to different businesses represented, each for their specific group. And as you can imagine, that was pretty expensive and hard to manage. So we decided to move to a common inventory model. And this allows us to hold all of our hardware right at our fulfillment center under a single GL, which is that we own. And then once we fulfill a device to the business, that device is then assigned to the business GL and charged. In some cases, they may get a brand new machine, in which case they get charged, fully for that device. In other cases, they may get a refurbished machine. So it's a machine that's come back in, has been refurbished, and being redeployed. But because it's already been purchased once, that machine is sent at no charge to the customer, with the exception of a kitting fee for the peripherals. But because it's all shared inventory, we're saving around $20 million annually by using refurbished machines. When we look at the data, it tells us that almost every business that that uses this consistently gets about 50% of their devices from the refurbished stock, rather than buying new. So it actually worked out really well. It's not as we had initially thought there might be some concerns from the business about reusing equipment, but the data is showing that it's staying pretty consistent. To help us to facilitate a lot of this, we've also centralized our repair teams and our data recovery to the fulfillment center, and it worked out so well that we're doing similar activities with phones and mobile devices. So, conclusion. I hope I haven't spoke too fast, but we had a lot of material to get through in a short time to do it. But in conclusion, I just want to talk about, really for us, the main thing I want to emphasize is, for us, it's all about our corporate culture, a great corporate culture, having those clear and useful values. They're very effective, and I really do believe that the way we're doing things today represents the future of IT support. And the fact that EUTS isn't just a help desk, or it isn't just a desktop support team, but it's really a team of teams from all disciplines that are all focused on the same thing, which is really just customer service and support, making the customer happy. Larry Renfro, who's the CEO of Optum, I think he said it best. Our goal is to make healthcare simpler and work better, most significantly on a human level. So again, it kind of ties into our overall mission as a corporation of making the healthcare system better for everybody. So that wraps it up for me.
Thanks
looks like
so much.
I'm right on time. It looks like too.
Sure, wonderful timing, which leaves plenty of time for Q&A. This does bring us to the Q&A portion of our session today. And first, just thank you, Mike, for sharing your story. You have an amazing story, and I'm so glad to have you today to be able to share that with our community and the industry. So if you would love to ask Mike or Gus a question, you can do so in the question panel. If you're watching in full screen mode, you need to exit out of full screen mode. The question field is right under the small view of the slides. So if you have any questions, you can submit those in the Q&A panel now, and we will, as they come in, we can answer those questions. And don't be shy. We'll see if anybody has any questions. We'll give about a minute to see if we have any questions come in whatsoever. And there's plenty of you out there, so definitely would love to have your questions. If you have any questions about the award program, or if you have any questions for Mike and Gus at Optum about their content, we are here to help. All right, no questions coming in. Last call for questions. You just did such a great job at going through your story. All right, I'm gonna move forward, but if you do have any questions in the meantime, I will continue to watch the Q&A panel. We do have another webinar in June, so join us on June 19th for the future of the IT Support Center with Roy Atkinson of HDI and Stephen Smith of LogMeIn. That is on Tuesday, June 19th from 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. Eastern. We'd love to have you online for that fantastic webinar. I also would love to have you follow us. If you do not follow us on social media, you can do so on Twitter at ThinkHDI, on Facebook and LinkedIn as well. We have groups. We have amazing groups out there on those social media outlets. And of course, HDI Connect, if you are a member, you get the special HDI Connect community where members and have an opportunity to work on our discussion board, to ask each other questions, collaborate, and just really get discussions going about the things you have that you have questions about or challenges or even maybe even successes and you want to share. That opportunity is out on HDI Connect for our members only. We also load all member content, research, tools, templates, all kinds of great member-only content onto HDI Connect on a monthly basis. So join that conversation at connect.thinkhdi.com. So last call for questions. If not, we will wrap up. Any final thoughts for anyone out there, Mike or Gus? All right. Thanks so much, everyone. I continue to celebrate, and I'm so proud of Optum and Mike and his team. Congratulations again on winning the 2018 HDI Team Excellence Award, and your submissions in for next year. Thanks so much, everyone, and have a wonderful rest of your week. We'll see you later.
Thanks, Leslie.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you.